Hello everybody, welcome to Crit Football. Thank you so much for joining me. So I saw this post on X and it hit right home and I want to read it out. It says mid-April, 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League into the Champions League semi-final and I'm miserable. What a club. And that hits right at home because that's the mood around Arsenal right now. And that's not being nervous. I don't see this Arsenal fan as being nervous or being a coward. I see it as the mood of realistic, not emotional Arsenal fans right now. Fans who understand the game of football. Fans who understand Arsenal and fans who understand what they are trying to do. But before we break this down, let me set some context. First, I love good football. I don't care if you're playing defensive football, attacking football, free-flowing football, set pieces. In fact, I made a video defending Arsenal set pieces. I don't care if you are playing tiki-taka. I don't care if you are playing slow build-up. What's important to me is good football. Good football is good football. Win games, make it work. Second, I've loved and supported Arsenal for decades. Since the water bottle days, since I was a kid. So this video is not a hate video. It's a reality video. Third, I'm a football realist. I believe that what you see is what you get. In many football matches, you can have lucky situations. You can have unlucky situations. You can have moments, refereeing decisions that favor you or do not favor you. But for the most part, performances are made up of what you see. As you lay your bed, so you lie on it. Having set that context, I want us to rewind a bit. Before the Sporting game, Arteta came out and said, fire, no fear but fire. Before the Bournemouth game, he said things like, bring your lunch, bring your dinner, it's going to be a great day. And what happened in both matches? They lost to Bournemouth at home at the Emirates, 1-2 in favor of Bournemouth. They drew to Sporting 0-0 at the Emirates. Now, Arsenal fans are split into two groups. There are those who saw fire in that Sporting game. And there are those who saw flickers, if not fear, in that match. And let's be honest, Arsenal's first half of the season was outstanding. They were the best team in England and possibly one of the best teams in Europe. Defensively, they were solid. They were structured. They were almost impenetrable. This team was not conceding shots on target, talk less of conceding goals. They were fantastic. Offensively, they were not playing free-flowing football, but they were creating chances, they were scoring goals, they were effective at it. They were effective at set pieces. Teams would come to the Emirates, they would sit back in low blocks, fearful, and Arsenal would need to break them down. It was very difficult to break teams down, but they would do that by a set piece goal and go on to score many open goals, own goals, what have you, and they would get results. But the reality is that since the start of the year, things have changed, and you can sugarcoat it, you can say it whichever way, but the reality is that things started changing in December at the turn of the year into the new year. The defense was not as impenetrable, as solid as before. And that was down to injuries, dip in forms that happens in football. It can happen. Arsenal had blips during those times. But the real issue is that when your defense drops form and your attack isn't creating chances, you have a problem. Because football has three phases. It has the attack phase, it has the transition, and it has the defense. And to win consistently, you need to be effective at all three areas. In all three phases of the game, you need to be effective. Right now, low block teams that are clinical, that know what they are doing, that will score goals when they need to score goals, will find it very easy to break Arsenal's defense. But the reality is also that high intensity teams who are very good would expose Arsenal's lack of attacking urgency. Have you watched Arsenal these days? It's very simple. They don't play very difficult football. Very predictable. Sideway passes, back passes. Raya has more touches in the game than Martinelli, than Trossard, than Madueke. No runners in behind. No urgency in attack. No creative efficiency. Nobody is running. Nobody is creating chances. Nobody is running through the lines. Nobody is running into space. Everybody is scared. Everybody wants to pass the ball. Do what's safe. And the key point is that if you are not in your opponent's final third, then your opponent is in your final third. That's the reality. And what happens is teams that can take advantage of that will punish you. We saw it many times against Bournemouth. We saw it against Man City. We saw it against Southampton. We saw it against Sporting. Quality teams will punish you. Now, let's take a look at some of the statistics because that might help us put all of this into context. Let's look at Arsenal's last 5 games. Let's start with the last one on the list, Manchester City. Arsenal played City at Wembley and they had 2 shots on target in the entire game. Their XG was 0.31 and Manchester City's XGA, which is the expected goals by the opponent, was 1.548. Southampton, they had 4 shots on target and Southampton had more XG, 1.05 than Arsenal. Sporting away from home, Arsenal had 0.87, Sporting had 0.78 and Arsenal had 5 shots on target. In that Bournemouth game, Arsenal had 3 shots on target in the entire 90 minutes and an XG of 0.19. That's Arsenal's lowest XG at the Emirates in 4 years, since 2022. Bournemouth's XG was 1.12. Against Sporting at home in the Champions League, they had only 1 shot on target in the entire game. Their XG was 0.67. That was the expected goal for Arsenal. And Sporting's XG was 0.27. And you see a pattern here. This isn't a one-off. This has been building for months. And it's game after game after game. The same thing. And if you look at it, it seems to be getting worse. When you go from Southampton, you go to Sporting away, you go to Bournemouth, then you go to Sporting at home. It looks like it's getting worse. This has been building for months. And now let's for a fair comparison, let's look at Manchester City because they are their closest rival. They are playing them on Sunday. So let's take a look. What's City like? Manchester City are producing. Versus Chelsea, they had 9 shots on target, an XG of 2.14. Versus Liverpool, 7 shots on target, 1.88 XG. Versus Arsenal, they had 6 shots on target. Versus Madrid, 8 shots on target, 1.35 XG. And look at the level of opposition here. Madrid, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea. Who are the biggest teams in Europe? Who are the biggest teams in England? Those are the biggest teams. And I have to come back to XG. XG does not win you games. I know some of you are thinking, what is it talking about? XG does not win you game, but it tells a story. It's a pointer. Because in the last 5 games, you look at that XG, you look at the goals scored. Arsenal have only scored 3 goals in their last 5 games. They've conceded 6. Manchester City have scored 11 and have conceded 3. So let's not deceive ourselves here. Arsenal defense is no longer untouchable. It's no longer impenetrable like it was in the first half of the season. And right now, with current form, City's defense is better. These guys did not concede a single goal against Arsenal, against Liverpool, against Chelsea. And these are the biggest teams. And unfortunately, the harsh truth is that Arsenal have been better than City all season long, for most of the season. But now, they are not turning up when it matters the most. And this is the running. I keep saying it. The running is grueling. The running is tough. It's harsh. It's brutal. There are teams that are fighting relegation. There are teams that are chasing European spots. There are teams that just want to do whatever it takes to get points off you because they want the best for themselves. They want to finish very well. Every match is like a final. And unfortunately, this is the time that Arsenal have chosen to not match the intensity of the league. Yes, injuries have hurt them. Martin Odegaard has been out for a long time. Timber, Saka, Merino, and it's significant. But even when players return, when some of these guys return from time to time, we only see a glimmer of what they are able to do. We only see glimpses of what they are capable of. And it's not sustained. There's no real impact. And that's the reality. And now they go to the Etihad. This is the biggest test that they faced so far. Man City versus Arsenal at the Etihad is the biggest game of Arteta's managerial career, arguably. And it's against one of football's best manager, arguably the best in history. And his team is firing on all cylinders. And I'll be honest with you, I find it very difficult to see how Arsenal would score in that match based on their recent performance. It's on, you can't even imagine it. How are they going to score a goal? You need to score goals to win matches. You can defend all you like, but you need to score goals to win matches. And the reality is, it's very easy to see how Man City score. How they score 1, how they score 2. It's easy to see it. Because they've done it again and again. They are showing that they can do it. These guys have been resting for what? A week. And now they play us now. And that brings us to that exposed. Because this is why Paddy Arsenal and many Arsenal fans are miserable. Because even though they are on top of the league, even though they are in the semi-final of the league, they are feeling uneasy. This is not emotions. And I see many Arsenal fans, you want to rationalize it somehow. You just come up with different points. Yes, Arsenal are playing so many games. Yes, Arsenal are the only English team left in the Champions League. But you have to be realistic. Arsenal did the job in the first half of the season. They finished that league phase on top. That was what they needed to do. And that was not easy. They blew teams away. Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich. They blew them away. And rightly so. Arsenal were hot. But that's not the same Arsenal that we are watching today. That's not the same Arsenal. And you have to face that reality. This is the same Arsenal that lost to City. And you were hoping, the Carabao Cup, they've lost in a final they've not been to in 5 or 6 years. They finally got in there and they lost. And you think they'll bounce back. Against Southampton, a championship side, they didn't bounce back. Against Bournemouth, they didn't bounce back. Against Sporting, their performance was below par. But you can rationalize it in different ways. But it's not going to cut it. There wasn't one moment in that game against Bournemouth where I was watching the match and I was wondering, Arsenal is going to score. This is the moment when Arsenal is going to score. I could not even see it. It's hard to see. You could see Bournemouth scoring in that match, but you could not see Arsenal scoring in that match. You have to face that reality. And that's the difference. And you have to score to win football matches. Simple. There's no other way you can do it. And you know what? I want to end with this quote from Ian Wright, who is possibly Arsenal's biggest advocate. Let's see what he had to say. Watching the games, it hurts. There's a pain that's hurting me. It's killing me that I can't feel it. I've put so much, invested so much into the manager, the team, the players, everything. And they've got to a place again. And you're just seeing it falling away. You're seeing players making mistakes. We haven't played any kind of football to beat a team where I can say that we can't get through the nervousness. I believe that how we are playing now and however the manager wants you to play, once you get on the pitch, you have to take a certain responsibility for yourself because it's failing right now. That's Ian Wright. This is a guy that has backed Arsenal all season. And he's seeing it. These are realistic Arsenal fans. And the reality is for Arsenal to get anything at the Etihad, it won't take words. Not fire in press conferences. Not big statements in press conferences. Bring them on. We've heard so many of that all season long. especially in the last couple of weeks. What it will take is simple: real fire, real intensity, and a real performance. But the question is, can Arsenal actually deliver it? This is Crit Football. Make sure to like, subscribe to this channel for more football content, and we hope that Arsenal can do it. Thank you so much for listening, and peace out.